But like have you always kind of done that? And have you ever had coaches say, no, you gotta be stepping, that's not proper?
Well, you want to have your feet in the ground. I mean, the more cleats you get out in the ground, the more force you develop, and I think that's part of it. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't put too much thought into it. I think just when you're in a good rhythm as a quarterback, that's when you can really be your best. It's just different on each play, I guess, whether it's the coverage, the blitz, what you have to do in the pocket, if you're flat-footed or on your toes moving. I think it just depends on that play in particular.
You referred to Sherfield as not a flat foot, it was more like a back foot, which is supposed to
Yeah.
No, don't do that. Obviously, it worked out, but I mean, do you sometimes have to toe the line between what goes from flat foot to back foot?
Yeah, and I think half of it's honestly just reaction and instincts that take over when you're like the one to Trent. There was a push from the left side, and I kind of just felt it and tried to fade away with it. So, I mean, there's plays like that happen, and you don't even really realize what you're doing until you watch it on the tape.
I mean, what kind of memories do you have of playing in Seattle? Because it's kind of at two different levels right now.
Yeah, some good, some bad. Obviously the first one that pops in my head is when Dre made the big play on the goal line. But yeah, they've gotten the better of us these last couple times. So this will be a good challenge for us. It's going into their home turf. It's going to be a hostile environment. We know that, whatever the records are. But we'll be ready for it.
What makes that defense a tough matchup?
They're always flying around. Honestly, it's the way they move, the way they chase the ball. They're sound in their coverages. They don't do too much to complicate things, but it's just they're very sound and they tackle very well in space. All that added together makes for good defense.
Of all the places you play, is that one of the toughest? They're right on top of you there, and those guys are pretty loud.
Yeah, they get after it up there. But it's a good challenge. We try to embrace it, get the silent count going. It'll be a little different than last year. It was a nice luxury without the crowd last year. But yeah, it's a tougher spot to play.
As much as you guys try to stay humble during a win streak, is there times where you can enjoy it and realize the fun that goes into it?
There's always moments where you stop and smell the roses, but those moments they go by pretty quickly. So you gotta enjoy them for that quick second, and then the season it's always trains rolling. You gotta jump on it and keep moving with it. So it's we're into December now, so this is when football really starts.
As an offense, you guys have been very efficient on first and third downs, but the second down efficiency is way down this year. Is that something you guys pay attention to? Is there any theory or explanation behind that?
I think that's more. You might have to ask the coaches more about that one, but no, I don't know. Just avoiding, I would guess, penalties, negative runs, things like that, to put you in second and long, maybe make it more difficult. But no, really, I don't know. We haven't talked about it too much.
Jimmy, another meeting with Nick Bosa, Kyle was just talking about how technical he is and how much he pays attention to small details in terms of his study and all that. Have you seen that? In what ways, maybe, do you see him, in that line?
You definitely see it. It's hard to see with Bose because Bose is kind of quiet in general. But when you get him talking a little bit and he starts talking about techniques and shit like that, there's a lot going on up there. I mean, he really is breaking down the game, inside and out, the pass rush, the coverage, all this stuff tied together. He's very in tune with it. But yeah, I mean, when you have a guy that could do what he does and he's that tuned into the details at the same time, that makes for a special player, man.
Jimmy, you lose Raheem at the beginning of the season, don't have Jeff Wilson until recently. What's it been like to watch the run game evolve to get back to a really strong place, particularly last week?
It's been really cool. It really has, just with all the running backs, like you're saying, motioning in and out, injuries, whatever it is, riding the hot hand. But they've done a great job of it. Debo too, I'll throw him in that group. But no, Elijah's been carrying it great. The O-line's been blocking for him great. It's all those things tied together, and then, like you said, we get Jeff rolling again. It makes us dangerous.
You've thrown 67 passes and run it 125 times in the last 3 games, which is pretty skewed league-wide. But you think as a younger player, you would have been maybe more anxious to throw a few more passes? It doesn't seem like it matters to you now.
Yeah, I think so. Probably in my first couple of years, you always want to. It's just part of being a quarterback. But no, I guess as I've gotten older, it's just about winning, and that's in this league, that's all it is. And you keep doing that, good things will happen to you.
Jimmy, what sticks out to you most about that 19 game with the fans and maybe silencing them and just the momentum and the changes that you had that game particularly?
That was a dogfight of a game, man. It really was. Just all 60 minutes. We knew it always is with these guys. But yeah, just that atmosphere. That was one of the coolest atmospheres I've ever played in. I can remember pregame sitting there and just kind of soaking it in for that split-second moment. But it's it'll be a dogfight. We know that going into it, so we have our minds right.
Deebo Samuel's made things really easy for your offense at times the last few weeks. I mean, what's going to be the key to playing well on offense without him this week?
Guys stepping up. I think Trent did a great job of stepping into the game when Deebo went down. Made a big third down conversion for us. Other guys stepping up and just moving some guys around. I think it'll be a little easier this week with the week to plan for it. But just guys have to step up, whether it's at running back, receiver, making yak with the ball in your hands. It's all those little things will add up this game.
Going back to your early years in the league, how valuable was it, this is a Trey Lance question, to kind of run the scout team and just observe and do those sorts of things? And looking back to that first year, do you kind of appreciate it more now than you may have at that time?
Absolutely, yeah. At that time, I mean, you think you're a scout team quarterback. Myself, I had never done it before, so you don't know how to, fully embrace that role, I guess. But a lot of good could come from it. It's one of those things the defense might have you circle on a receiver, and you have to throw this ball. You have to find a way to stick it in there and beat the coverage. And those are the tough spots that you get in, but it makes you a better quarterback, I think.
Brandon, have you seen him get into it with defensive backs before, like he did on Sunday?
I've seen BA. Yeah, he gets a little chippy at times, but it's a good thing he's got those long arms.
Is that a shift from maybe where he was earlier in the season, whether it was urgency or having a different mentality? Is that a sign that maybe he's at that point now?
I think it is. I think whenever a guy's doing whatever you want to call it, chippy stuff, blocking hard. Whenever he's doing little things like that, it means something to him, and you can see that on the tape. You can see that on the field. You feel his energy. So all those things, I think whatever it was with B that made him flip the switch, it's been working for him.
Last one.
When you guys aren't doing enough play action, how predictable do you think it is from the defensive end in terms of, trying not to tip your hand or have any tells of what you're going to be doing?
There's a fine line. There definitely is. But I think our coaches do a good job of that, balancing act of run, play action, drop back, mixing it all in, keep the protection moving, things like that, just to keep the defense, keep us in the attacking mindset, rather than vice versa. So I think it all plays a role in it, but that drop back stuff, you don't want to get too predictable.
Have you had any tells pointed out to you in your career?
I haven't. You got any for me?
No, but I heard on the radio somebody said Russell Wilson did that every time he took his mouth right off and he was running.
Well, someone's always watching. Good?
Thanks, Jimmy.
All right. Thanks, guys.